Hey, awesome people. Mr. C back with you for another fractions video. Make sure if you learn anything new at all, click that like and subscribe button. Join us as we continue making math understandable and challenging. This video is going to be our practice problems video for applying and extending previous understandings of multiplication to multiply a fraction by a whole number. A lot of words there, but this is our practice problems video to multiply fractions and whole numbers. We are using the standard strategy in this video. If you missed the teaching video, it is in the description below. Also in the description below, you will find everything we've done for second grade, third grade, and fourth grade fractions, and everything else we've covered on our channel, okay? Parents, teachers, in the description below, check out two links I have there for you, both of them for IXL. IXL is an incredible program that I have used in my classroom. It is a great way for students to get independent practice on different skills and for them to be able to track their learning. They only need to use it for 20-25 minutes a day, but it is a great tool for them to be able to get individualized practice. There's two links, one's for a free 7-day trial and the other one is for a 20% off your annual or monthly membership. Feel free to reach out to me, check those out. In this video, like I said, we are going to be working on the standard strategy for multiplying fractions and whole numbers. This is the practice problems video. Let's take on some challenges. Y'all ready? Well, here we are, awesome people, with our very first problem. But before we even get started, like we always say it here at Math with Mr. C, we have a growth mindset, and what we mean by that is we are on the lookout for challenges. We take them on. We know that if we make a mistake, that mistake means that we're going to get better. It helps our brain grow. We find our mistakes. We don't give up when we make a mistake. We ask good questions. We stick with it. We persevere. And we remember the things that we've already learned. All right? So here we go with our practice problems video. We've got 3/4 times 6. So what we doing here? I see we have a fraction and we've got a whole number. So what are you thinking? What are we thinking? Feel free to pause me before I get started. Here I go. So this is what I'm going to do. I want to have two fractions to multiply this because it's easier for me to be able to see it. It's easier for me to be able to track my math. So if I have 3/4, that's already a fraction. Now, I want 6 to be a fraction. How can 6 be a fraction? How could I write 6 wholes as a fraction? What does that look like? Well, from what we already know, our previous understanding is that we can write a whole number as a fraction by writing the whole number over a denominator of 1. Because 6 over 1 is the same thing as 6. 6 divided by 1 equals 6. Okay? The reason I'm doing this is because it makes it so much easier for me to track when I'm about to multiply. All right? What we've learned is to multiply fractions and whole numbers. What we're going to do here is we're going to multiply straight across. All right, multiply straight across. So multiply the numerators times the numerators. What is 3 times 6? 3 times 6 is 18. And multiply the denominators. 4 times 1 is 4. And there is your answer, 18 over 4. Again, another way I showed you in the teaching video is that you could just write it and solve it like this. This is not my favorite way to solve it, but it is doable. The reason it's not my favorite is because sometimes students multiply like this and they get 24 over 3, but that is not correct. They made a mistake. Instead, you multiply the numerator times the whole number and you get 18, and you write the denominator as the same. Again, both strategies, they're really standard strategies. They get you the same answer. I recommend this one here because in the next grade, you are going to be multiplying fractions that look like this. And if you already know how to set it up and multiply straight across, it's not going to trip you up. Okay, that's why I recommend it. Okay, take a look and see where did you make a mistake, what didn't make sense, where are you confused, where are you lost. Rewatch it, and then watch this next one with me. Okay, let's try another one. All right, we've got 3 times 7/10. What we doing here? This time, the whole number is before the fraction. Does that change anything for us? Let's zoom in a little bit. If the whole number is in front of the fraction, does that change anything? No, it doesn't. We're going to multiply it just like we have before. So let's do that. We've got 3. Well, before I write 3, let me rewrite my fraction here. Let's move it down some. So we're going to rewrite 7/10 down here, and we want to multiply by a fraction. So how do we write 3 whole as a fraction? Remember, numerator is the whole number, denominator is going to be 1. There's a really simple and efficient way to write a whole number as a fraction. All right, so we've got 3/1 times 7/10. What happens next? Hopefully you're saying out loud, Mr. C, multiply straight across. Multiply straight across. 3 times 7 gives us 21. 1 times 10 gives us 10. There you go. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and you get an answer of 21/10. Ask yourself, where did this 3/1 come from? Where did it come from? What do these arrows represent? Why is Mr. C writing in these arrows? Okay, the reason I'm writing in these arrows is it helps my brain to see what I'm multiplying. It reminds me I'm multiplying 3 times 7. I've seen some students, because it helps them, even write a multiplication sign right here because it helps them. I say go for it. If that helps you, do it. I'm all about making it easier on our brains. Okay, for me, I just draw the arrows because that reminds me to go straight across, to multiply straight across. All right. Where are you stuck? Where are you confused? What doesn't make sense? Rewatch it if you need to. Remember, if you made a mistake, find it. Don't give up. Challenge yourself. Okay? Got 2 last ones here for you. Let's check them out. Final 2 problems on the screen here for us. Let's start off with our orange. Actually, you know what? Let's start off with the blue one. Let's go with the blue one first, because that orange one's going to be a little bit of a challenge. So let's do the blue fraction, or excuse me, the blue multiplication problem first. We've got 8 times 1/6. So let's set this up. So we've got 1/6, and we're going to multiply it by a fraction. How do we write 8 wholes as a fraction? Well, to write 8 wholes as a fraction, the numerator is going to be 8, and the denominator is going to be 1. There we go. So let's multiply and see what we get. What are we going to multiply? We're going to multiply straight across, Mr. C. Multiply straight across. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. 8 times 1 is 8. 1 times 6 is 6, and there is your answer, 8/6. Let me show you this strategy here just in case you used it. Same thing, you're multiplying the numerator by the whole number and you get 8, and the denominator stays the same. Either strategy gives you the same answer. I recommend using this one here though. Okay? Well, let's go to this orange one now. This one is a challenge. I always love to give us a challenge to kind of finish off our videos. We've got 5/8 times 10. Now ask yourself, Mr. C, how is this a challenge? You may be thinking. Well, the reason I kind of call this one a challenge is because we haven't seen a 2-digit number yet. Okay, so let's kind of think through this for a second. We've got 5/8, and we're going to multiply it by a fraction. Now, Mr. C, does that change anything when we have a 2-digit number? If we had like a number like 10, does that change how we're going to write this as a fraction? It's a good question. No, it's not going to change. Because if you have a whole number, you can always write that whole number as a fraction by writing the whole number in the numerator and writing the denominator as 1. 10 over 1, 10 divided by 1 equals 10. Okay, nothing changes when we have a denominator that is 2 digits, 3 digits, 4 digits. You could have the number 1 million. It could be 5/8 times 1 million. And you would write it as 1 million on the numerator and over 1. Okay, so nothing changes here. Solve it the way we have been solving it. All right, so multiply straight across. 5 times 10 is 50. 8 times 1 is 8. And there is your final answer, 50 over 8. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're still a little bit confused, check out that teaching video. It is in the description below. Remember, our goal here at Math with Mr. C is not that you can just solve these like a human calculator. Parents, teachers, make sure they understand what this actually looks like. Check out our models video. We did a models video to help us see what this multiplication looks like, because a lot of times students will get to this point and they're just like flying through problems, but they don't understand what it actually looks like to multiply 5/8 times 10. So please check that out. Our goal is not to create human calculators, but develop students that can see and understand the math they are solving. All right, parents, teachers, this is a great time to check out those IXL links in the description below. Great opportunities for students to get onto IXL and to practice this skill, to master this skill, to get them some individualized practice. So check out those links for a free 7-day trial and 20% off your membership. Make sure, if you learned anything new at all, click that like and subscribe button. Join us as we continue making math understandable and challenging. That's all I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. C out.